No flipping way. What is up, everyone? Today we are going to be looking at the Cool Cats project and kind of just picking apart some of our speculation and some thoughts that we've had on the milk production that is going to be released coming up for the Cool Cats. We both got in pretty late, wouldn't you say, Bryce? I mean, we were definitely late to the party. Um,
Yeah, we definitely got in. I mean, we got in pretty early on one that you had bought, what, like 2 months ago, but then we sold it definitely way too early before the big pump. But there's a lot of anticipation on their milk production coming up, as well as the kind of game they're going to release, and the little creatures as well. I think, aren't they airdropping creatures or something?
Well, so from my understanding, right, they've kind of teased these. I think this was 2 town halls ago. They have like this little interface. They're showing different elemental creature type things. Um, they have the creatures tab and then an inventory tab. I think someone had mentioned from the town hall that you'll use the milk tokens to buy, different resources that you will then need to feed your creatures to level them up. And so I don't know if that's like a full-fledged game or what we really got going there, but it definitely seems interesting. But yeah, like you said, I bought in early on one of the cool kit. Well, early. It was like 2 ETH at the time, which still seemed like a lot for a cool cat. But I had bought like a wild one, and then I was thinking, oh, I'll sell my wild one during like a big push up, and then I'll jump into a cheaper one and kind of keep a little bit of ETH profits on the side. That didn't work out so well because I delayed my rebuy time and then ended up turning around and jumping in with you when we rebought after it like mega pumped past the 10 ETH floor. So that was, a learning experience, like everything in crypto is. But currently we are in the month of October. The Cool Cats have like this Halloween event. So like I'm kind of anticipating that we're not going to get any sort of milk updates until after October. Um, it does look like there's a lot of stuff planned on this little calendar thing that they got here with different spooky drops. They're dropping some cool cats to the community, doing some giveaways and some Twitch streams, and of course the every Friday town hall. So if you're new to Cool Cats and you want to figure out what's going on, definitely hop in their Discord, follow them on Twitter, and get some of their updates. Or you can find these posts where they give you kind of like the rundown on like what happened in the town hall. So looking at the Cool Cats website, we're going to do a little bit of speculating now and talking about the milk token. Each of the Cool Cats have these like little cards, and those are the different rarities based on the different backgrounds. And so this definitely screams at me that this will be important. It even says right here that the points of the cool cat can contribute to certain contests. Well, I can't even read today. Contests and raffles, but will be even more useful for breeding in Gen 2. So I didn't know that, but did you know that there was breeding coming,
No,
Bryce?
I didn't. I'm wondering if that's the egg or the creature, like those elemental creatures. But I
Well,
think
that's weird because I thought the egg was just an airdrop, and then, well, shoot, maybe there's a lot that we don't know. I was thinking that the creatures were like from the like hatched from the egg, and then they were going to also have other eggs potentially open to the pre-sale. I mean, for not pre-sale, open to the public.
yeah.
Does that mention that somewhere? Companions will be distributed one egg per cool cat with the possibility of being inclusive for non-holders as well. So
Okay.
that would be, kind of their way of trying to expand the community of cool cats, which is already doing quite well. I think it was like 4,700 current holders at the time of this video. So here they even mention have realistic expectations with the milk token. So seeing that was 2 Fridays ago, this was from last Friday, for the Halloween big announcement on what they're doing. I'm definitely thinking we're not getting milk anytime until after October. So shall we go ahead and hop into the spreadsheet?
Yeah. So Will and I made a little Excel spreadsheet with kind of two different options on our speculation of what we think the rate of milk per day will be. And yeah, I'll let you kick off that top one, because that's
Yeah.
all you with some weird stuff going on that I didn't quite understand.
Yeah, so I was kind of messing around with a couple of things. This was before I even saw this points distribution, which definitely would probably be something that they're more likely to use for the milk. But basically, I was assuming that, you have the supply of all of the different floors. There's 50% of the supply within the top, or I mean the bottom two tiers. So tier 1 and tier 2 is 50% of the 10,000 Cool Cat supply. And then at the very top tier, exotic 1, there's only 148, which counts for, about 1% of the total token supply. So not a whole lot of Cool Cats in that range. And so obviously those cats are more likely to be producing a significantly larger amount of milk than a tier 1 or tier 2. Now, with that information, you can kind of, maybe try to grab some data points and figure out, okay, well, hypothetically, how much milk would I be producing each day holding a different tiered Cool Cat? And so I kind of did this thing. I'm not even going to try to explain it. I did some numbers. I did some like a 2% drop down from exotic 2 to exotic 1, and then like a 3% drop down in between the classes. So you have exotics, classy, wild, and then cools. So like anytime you dropped like a title tier, then I would just take off 3%. And then within the two cool one, like classy 1 to classy 2, there's like a 2% difference. Anyways, doesn't really matter. What it all came out to for when I was looking at numbers was, a 1 to 5 distribution with a little bit of variances in between. Cool 1, the bottom tier, I was kind of like maybe thinking it would produce 1 milk a day. This assumption is kind of like trying to roughly get to about 25,000 milk per day total production from the entire Cool Cat supply. Obviously, there's going to have to be some mechanics that the Cool Cats team creates to also drain the milk supply. So you don't want to be producing so much milk that it gets out of hand. But yeah, basically
we have no clue that they'll actually produce 25,000 milk a day. It could be 100,000, could be 1,000,000 milk. Kind of just depends on, what they decide and what they come up with. But this is just purely speculation and running numbers to kind of figure out what tier, if we want to buy another cat, what tier we would kind of look at for a value buy.
Right. And so what I did with that is I took the floor value in ETH currently at the time of this video, and then I, divided that by the rate of milk production per day that I had come up with in the 1 to 5 range. And then you can kind of look at this bolded column here with the border around it as where you might want to do some evaluation. Also that, and then comparing the floor cost versus 365 days of milk. So if you're holding a Cool 1, according to my top like prediction, you would be getting around 441 milk, assuming again the 25,000 milk per day is what the Cool Cats dev team has landed on. Obviously, this could vary by multiples or be reduced as well. Kind of just depends on how they envision the ecosystem, and then what kind of price target they're trying to get the milk token at, which I don't even know. Sometimes I feel like devs can release things and they don't know how it's going to react, and then it might totally surprise them. So anyways, ETH per milk rate. If we were looking at this, things that kind of jump out to me are these lower numbers here, your classy 2 and classy 1. Assuming that this is what it may be, classy 2 and classy 1 are definitely looking like the better buys at this current price range. And then things that would be a little overvalued would be your exotic 2 and your Cool 1 floors.
And that makes total sense that Cool 1 would be overvalued right now. When you look at the floor for Cool 2 and Wild 1, and it's, a 0.1 ETH difference and 0.7 ETH difference, Like if you're gonna ape into a cat, you might as well spend the extra 0.2 ETH and upgrade to the next tier.
Right. I mean, so those bottom three tiers are like totally squunched on top of each other. There's like hardly any hardly much difference there. I mean, 0.7 is a big difference, but in terms of like the forward potential, um, there's a likelihood that maybe the cats keep moving up. What I suspect will happen is people will start saying, you know what, a difference of 6 ETH to get to a high tiered cat is, is not enough. And then people will start buying up these higher tiers, and then it'll start to redistribute the cost basically. If not, we may see something like a wild one may actually hold value a lot better in this like 3-tier range, and you might see the cool one floor pull back. So to give you an example, if that cool one floor dropped to 10, it kind of starts to value similarly to that of the cool 2 floor that when it's sitting at 14, which is just has to do with the amount of supply at each floor, which maybe that's skewing my numbers a little bit there, since the cool 2 floor supply, or the cool 2 supply, is rather large. So definitely not a perfect model, but it's just something to think about. So when you take these point systems, we went ahead and applied them over here to this rate of milk per day token, and we just subtracted 2 from the points and just said, okay, now we're running from 1 to 8 for the floors. And using that model, I mean, we kind of see the same thing.
Yeah, my guess though is based off that tweet where it said they're trying to perfect it and get down everything right. I don't think it'll be as simplistic as, cool 1 gets 1 milk, cool 2 gets 2 milk, wild 1 gets 3 milk, and so on. I definitely think there will be some more statistics and kind of math behind it on determining, which floors should get what milk in order to, kind of even their prices out and not cluster those the floor with those 3 tiers.
Right. I mean, like, it seems like if you're looking at this, if you're producing 1 milk versus 2 milk a day, I mean, obviously right away, you're not going to have like an immediate impact on, like it won't have an immediate impact until you like go many days out into the future. So like, obviously when you look at the 365 days of milk, you've only produced 365 for cool 1 and 730 for cool 2. And that is a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so, in some of these other ranges, it still kind of lines up that these classy 2 and classy 1s are, potentially the better buys, but we won't really know that until we know the rate of production and also kind of like what the mechanics for the milk token are. I mean, because there's a good chance that things could happen. They could release milk and then all the floors just, do a big shift and readjustment as people try to more appropriately align their holdings in Cool Cats to something that makes more sense for them. You might be holding a rare Cool Cat and suddenly you're like, I thought this was going to get more milk, and then it doesn't. So it's like, well, I can sell it now and get 2 lower tiers that are going to make me more milk over time. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot of speculation that's going to happen between now and then, but
yeah, the biggest thing with me and these kind of projects that are releasing these tokens is, what kind of value is the token going to provide to like the game they're doing, or growing up their little characters or whatever, because as long as if people don't want to play their game or grow up their little companion, then milk's not going to be valuable at all. So it's kind of interesting to see where these projects are going to go and kind of what the milk is actually going to be used for.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely said that well. Whether or not there's good use case for the milk is, still to be determined. And there's a good chance that, like as soon as it gets released, it might take a little bit for people to realize what it is, you know, and then again, some people might be like, oh my goodness, this is insane. And they might just go buy cats like crazy. I somehow think that that might not be the case. I mean, we kind of saw it with the release of the Volt token for Subducks. Didn't they have like a pullback after the, or was that after their pet drop?
It was after their pet drop, I think, because with Volt, I'm pretty sure the Volt token release is what caused Subducks to push up to like a 4 ETH floor.
Right.
And then they dropped their little king frogs or whatever, and those were just way too simple and way too dumb, and we just saw the prices just.
I mean, I wouldn't bash them that hard.
It didn't live up to the standards I was hoping for.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I don't know. I think there still might be some interesting things coming for Subducks. I need to do a little more research there, and see kind of like what their use case for the tokens are. Because I personally like to invest in the tokens, because usually if there's a good demand for the token, then you'll see people buying it up. And so even if they buy up little bits, especially in a liquidity pool where you're having like a matched pair with ETH and like a milk token, or ETH and Ash, or ETH and a banana, those pools like to move a lot. And so anytime someone makes a big move and dumps a lot or buys a lot, it definitely causes a lot of price action. So
yeah, I mean, a perfect example of that is what we covered in one of our previous videos with CyberKongs and their banana. You know, like it took banana a little while before it became like super valuable and in demand, as people were like, okay, wow, these baby Kongs for 600 banana are like a total steal. And then obviously we saw the price of bananas skyrocket, and then
right. I mean, that was some really good team execution. And the crazy thing to think about is it's like a lot of it is so relative too, because like I remember sitting there way back in the day thinking, oh, I could buy 600 banana for like 0.8 0.8 ETH. And I was like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know what the token's going to do. I don't know how this is going to perform. And then before you know it, it was 3 ETH per 600 bananas. And then it was 7 ETH per 600, then 8, 9, 10. And now it's like, is it 14 plus?
it's something ridiculous. That's like,
It might even be like 17. Like it's crazy. Kongs have been running up like mad. But you know, I mean, they've got a good use case for their banana. They got 1,000 supply producing 10 banana a day. So that is 10,000 bananas per day. And they're currently having to mint out the remaining babies, the CyberKong babies, and the remaining CyberKong's VX. So it's 600 bananas that gives you an incubator. The incubator gives you a baby Kong and a VX. And so those are increasing in value as the community grows. And so the demand for banana grows. You know, it would be interesting to see if there is some kind of unique way that milk would allow some of the remaining cool cats to be minted out.
and I'm wondering if milk might play a role in breeding, like we just saw at that tweet. Didn't it say there was like Gen 2 breeding? I wonder if milk may kind of copy like the CyberKong's bananas and kind of be implemented in that way.
I guess, yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible.
It would only make sense that your cat would drink the milk rather than it going to like the egg or your little elemental companion.
Yeah, I don't know if breeding is directly related to the elemental or not. I mean, so here we have the current supply is 9,933. So there's definitely some remaining cool cats to be minted. I mean, it would be cool if they kind of gamified
all the remaining cool cats to be minted are with the dev team, right? That they're doing for giveaways and contests and that sort of thing, right?
Well, right. And in that, right, the dev team would be able to withhold, 10 cool cats or whatever and say, hey, we're going to do this we're going to, this could I'm totally speculating here. Maybe the dev team comes in and says, okay, we have these 10 cool cats that are going to be up for grabs. And one of the ways that we're going to give milk token utility is you have to use milk token on these elemental creatures. You have to build them up in strength by giving them more different items, and you basically are using you're kind of curating your creature to have these different traits based on the items that you feed it. And then maybe it kind of goes into some kind of like random number generator type battle where maybe there's like a tournament style for the remaining cool cats. I mean, like that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, well, based off that tweet, it looks like you can have quite a few different companions. So I'm wondering if it may turn into like, a sort of card game like Hearthstone or whatever, where you have these different elements and you play them against other players, and eventually, you can grow them, play against other people, and then the winner of a big tournament or something will be given a cat. It'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, the not to get too much like hopium in the air, but like I don't know. I mean, there could definitely be some cool stuff that comes from Cool Cats.
Yeah, I mean, so we bought our cats, what, 4 or 5 days ago, and so far we've been liking the community and like what we're seeing. So
We like the cats. I mean, it's definitely fair to say. So much so that we came in and bit the bullet and got in at a higher price range, and then kind of, who knows where this we might look back at this in a month and be like, wow, thank goodness we got in. I don't know. The NFT space is kind of crazy. One thing I do want to shout out though for the Cool Cats team is like they do all these awesome collaborations, and then they airdrop things to their communities all the time. So like they dropped this candy bucket, which is, this cute little Cool Cat themed candy bucket. You've got people in the community running around with the candy bucket as their avatar's head. Like here's one. So I don't know. People are just having fun, like always good vibes with the Cool Cat community. And yeah, I mean, if you're interested in the project, like I said earlier, go and give them a follow on Twitter and join in their Discord. They have a fantastic reputation in their Discord just for, positivity, good vibes, and all that kind of stuff. So I think on that, we'll probably just wrap this video up. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button below. Please go ahead and subscribe if you made it this far. We really appreciate it. And leave us a comment below what you want us to have us talk about next.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next video.
Peace.